Hit it.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3.
Well, welcome to this week's episode of My Whiskey Den, and we are lucky enough to have Vito from Cask Strength on. He has agreed to finally open up some of the samples I sent him, and he's going to do a tasting blind of the very first sample send-outs. I have what they are, kind of hidden, since you want to do this blind, which I think is pretty unique. I think that's kind of fun.
Yeah, especially because I don't know. Because I'm going to assume that a lot of them are stuff that I've never even heard of before.
Probably.
So, this is going to be really interesting to see if I can even, nail down some stuff,
yeah, it'll be interesting. I was going to say, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything horrible in there, but everyone has a different flavor profile, so there might be stuff that grabs at you. Just want to thank everyone for stopping in the chat. I was going to say we got Whiskey Crusaders just stopped in. Hey, Matt. Spencer Mav, good to see you. There was Freshy Blue in there before. And it's good for right now. I'm not going to. Oh, Ice House. I was going to say, I saw you in there too. It's good to see you come back. So, I know you've been waiting to have a drink, Vito. What number are you going to start with? And do you want to do these all blind, or do you just want to have one, give your thoughts, and then find out some information about it?
I think I'm going to do a quick run-through of all 5.
Okay.
While I guess, we just kind of talk and hang out, and then maybe at the half-hour mark, I'll see if I can nail some stuff down.
All right, I can dig that. Dig that. So on that note, I am drinking some Chattanooga 101, 111, not 101. Mike, Ben, what are you drinking? And everyone in the chat, what are you guys drinking out there tonight?
I'm having some Dancing Goat Limousine Rye in honor of our good friend's birthday today.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'm all out. Yeah, Fred Swanson, who will be on the show next week, he's going to come on, and we are going to be talking about Death's Door's gin from the original distiller. They bought them out after they closed, and now are releasing their version of Death's Door gin. So we're going to do a little gin off. He's going to teach us about gin because I don't really know too much about gin. I only had the Pine Sol little air fresheners that you have in your cars. That's kind of what I had for gin. So he's going to come on, teach us about that a little bit, and then we're also going to make cocktails next week before we go on Whiskey Crusaders channel after that. So it'll be a long night. If they treat us the right way, we could be into the 20-30 whiskeys by the time we get done with it, the way they do things. Ice House, you are drinking the J. Henry and Son 5-year cask strength. That's nice. I love their cask strength versions of stuff. I like them a little bit higher proof. Hey, Patrick Fulmer, good to see you. Spencer is drinking a Klein Leash 14. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. So my apologies. Mike, what were you in? Oh, you guys already said what you were drinking, right? Or did
Mike's got the limousine.
Yeah.
I'm finishing off some Blom Brothers rye.
Oh,
I've got a little limousine rye, and we'll knock off a little sample of that left.
Oh, no. Save the limousine rye.
Okay.
Save the limousine rye. We're going to be doing a review of that one. So glad I caught you because that's the cask strength version of limousine rye, just not the normal version. That's
okay.
A little tougher to get, so that'll be the one we're actually going to probably so glad I caught you on that. Go finish something else, damn it.
I got a stack of them here, so don't worry.
But Vito, which one did you have so far?
So I'm dipping into the sample number 1, and it's really cool. It's nice on the nose. I wrote down that it's definitely waxy up front, so definitely that nutty walnut wax. It's a dusty corn, slightly sweet, slightly creamy, almost like a barn floor, but like after you freshly turn some nice hay.
I would say some of those same notes came up, so I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
But on the taste, it's like it's super light. So I'm gonna say that it's definitely low ABV. I would say it's young as well, just because there's not a lot of impact there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I need something that just didn't crack the bottle on. The Chattanooga is not bad, but it feels like it's a tiny bit aggressive compared to something else here. So I got to find another bottle myself. I'm always got to move on to drink number 2.
That the 111?
Yeah, the 111.
Yeah.
It just needs
I like
time.
that one. That's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I like it, and maybe I just wasn't used to the cast strength, but it was coming at me, so I figure I'll go right down the hole right away. Lefroy Lure is within arm reach, so I'll pick up some notes, just go down a rabbit hole. All right. You don't have to sit in back, Emily. That's the nice part about having something like this. There's no class.
Straight to the front, Emily.
Yeah.
Straight to the front.
Especially when I'm in here, there's definitely no class. Surprised I have a shirt on right now. Hold on.
All right, fine.
Hold on. I'm gonna undo one button. Ooh.
We're going there tonight, huh?
Well, I mean, if we do it.
That was weird. I was not expecting that one.
That's fair. Sometimes the reactions are the best part. But so I don't know how other than letting Vito get his legs under him with some of the samples. I don't know how is everyone else. What have you been up to this past weekend? Were any of you out riding in the streets? Burning cars, doing that. Anyone in the chat doing anything exciting like that?
Are you a cop? Because you got to tell me if I ask you. No.
Ooh,
Peacefully
nice.
protesting.
Peacefully protesting. That's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's
the right way to do it.
Well, as are most people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think some of them, like we were discussing a little bit before the show, we'll veer off into just normal talk for part of the night. Nothing wrong with that.
Do we have a hint of what Vito's on?
So I'm on. So I put number 1 aside for now. I'm on number 2.
Okay.
And I'm having a hard time deciding what exactly is entering into my senses right now. It's a tough one. I don't think I've ever had anything quite like this.
I would believe that it's a higher proofed one. I know that much. Well, I know a lot more than that. I'm just going to be quiet though.
Yeah.
But like I think a lot of people were the people not peaceably protesting, which I would call rioting. It seems like there was a lot of plans to help stir that up. And then around here, there was a couple of pictures you saw where like all of a sudden looting started, and then other people were going in to get stuff, and those were the people I felt like they should get something. Like the kid coming out with a Lego Star Wars set. Like, is that really what you went in the store to loot? Was like a Lego Star Wars set? I just don't buy into it. I mean, I guess at that point, that person's just like, I want something, and kind of join the crowd. But I don't know. I think most people are peaceful, and the other people are just kind of taking advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
So, but this lore is beautiful. It's much better than last week. I don't know. It kicked itself up a notch, and I know that's not everyone. Everyone shits on it. So, the vast majority of people crap on it, but I still like it.
Yeah, it's great whiskey. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I think some people hit on it because of the price point for it, but it's still really good. I mean, it just is what it is.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't fit into a standard Lefroy, and maybe that's why people don't like it.
I just like the mid palate on it.
Sorry, Patrick. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking Lefroy Lore.
Yeah. I haven't had that in quite some time. The first time I ever had it, it was after Daniel after Whittington had like gone on like a video saying that at how much he adores lore and this and that, and so I went out and paid almost $30 Canadian for a pour of it at one of our local a whiskey bar, and I was
Caledonia.
It was the Caledonian, yeah.
We can. My channel's okay. We're not even in Canada. We can pimp things. Go to the Caledonia. If you're
You guys can't come yet.
That's true. You're not letting us in. You're keeping us out at the border. That's terrible.
We got to keep our Canadian whiskey to ourselves. The good stuff. This is a perfect excuse. We're hiding behind all of this.
Yeah.
To keep our good Canadian stuff away from you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but it was $30 a pour there.
Yeah, and I was so disappointed by it. And I feel like if it hadn't have been hyped up for me, and I had decided to spend the $30 for it, I probably would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But because it was so hyped up, and like and I looked at the price, and I was like, I wasn't ready to spend it, but I was like, well, it's got to be good if at $30, and it wasn't $30 a pour worth it.
Yeah.
And I've been told that because I've had it once after that again, but I'm not too sure where exactly it was. But I've been told by different people is that if you don't like it, just drinking it, it's better if you have a cigar with it.
Oh. Well,
and I think that's sort of what ended up happening with Daniel and because he's such a big cigar smoker. And I'm sure he drinks it at when he's smoking or just after smoke, or he's always got that taste in his mouth that it's accentuating things that he enjoys about it.
I can see how tobacco would bring out some extra kind of layers to this to kind of level it up a bit. So, but yeah, I agree with you. Once you start to get into the $30 range for a pour of something, even if you didn't have high expectations. You almost have it up there right away, and I have the same thing. I hate getting excited about a whiskey and an overhyped one. I almost steer clear of it till like the hype is gone, and then I'll go to it quietly by myself after that. Because I find with movies, with whiskey, even with food, a lot of times where someone's like, oh, "This is amazing, you got to go here," and then I go there and I'm like, "It's a medium steak. It's not." Fucking, I could have cooked this at home. What the hell is everyone so excited about? Like you hyped it up too much. Or like you said, Vito, if you kind of come in lower, you're like, hey, this is pretty damn tasty. It's okay. But I remember there was a while where the bottles were overpriced, and then there was a section where they came like way down. They're like 130, 150 here, and then all of a sudden people were selling them for 65, and I'm like, that burns. Like, that burns. I wish, because I think I got it for a Father's Day present, and I was like, damn, had we only waited 2 more months, we could have had 2 whiskeys instead of 1.
Okay, so for sample number 2, you said that it was a high ABV. Are you confusing 2 and 3 again?
No, I have it flipped around now.
So what? So I have sample 3.
He's gonna flip it again.
I have sample 3 as what I'm drinking now, under the assumption that it was technically the number 2.
Okay, then I don't. Then it should be lower proof on that one.
Okay, yeah, So that's right, because there's no way that this is over 40%. It cannot be. This is probably the least flavorful whiskey that I've ever consumed.
That's fair.
I think I can pull anything. So on the nose, I got through the nose. It's sort of weedy, with moss and wet popsicle stick, and it's slightly sweet. And then on the palate, I wrote down low ABV, little flavor. It was either young or was in a spent barrel. But there was a bit of sweetness there for me. But other than that, it's I'm gonna go back to it again, like after. But it kind of just that was a little bit. I don't know. I'd be curious.
There's a reason for that one, and that what you're saying. What you're saying is kind of will make sense when we get to when we come back around.
Okay. But But yeah, I was trying so hard to like pull something. I was like, come on, Vito, you can do this. You're a professional.
Emily Chambers was saying she had that with an Angel's Envy's pour. I can see that gets pretty hyped up.
Which one is that's a bigger question, is like which Angel's Envy, because at least the rye is very good, but the port bourbon is very disappointing, at least for me, and I'm not spending $200 on the sherry.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah,
hey, Tourette's alarm doesn't go off for past 15 minutes. Fuck it. But yeah, I was gonna say the port one for its cost I think was fine for me. But I think, like what Emily said, like my first couple, say the first almost half of the bottle, not as big a fan as I was expecting to be. I let it sit for a couple months, and then I brought it to a wedding. Could have been the fact of the wedding I was at, but it picked up that day. Then that day it was pretty decent that day, so it kind of went up, maybe 10 points or so from letting it sit around. But we all know where you are can affect how you're feeling and what you like, so I don't want to take it away from that. But yeah, underwhelming.
Yeah,
the original port.
I can see the bourbon. It's why it's often so recommended as an entry point for bourbon, because it's great. But if you're somebody who's really experienced, I think, into whiskey, it's just not going to check off many boxes for you.
No. My biggest gripe with the bourbon was that the port bourbon was I bought it in Buffalo for $50 US. Okay, fine, $50, sure, no problem. I bought two that day because I was going to meet Brad for the first time the next weekend. So I was like, I'm gonna bring Brad like a gift, like a peace offering, because I knew that he had so many whiskeys at his place that I was probably gonna try some crazy stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna bring something that you probably can't get. And I think the Vault had just... Oh, no, it wasn't the Vault. Who was it? Was his name Tom? Remember the video that Daniel and that other guy with the bow tie did? One of the first Vault videos.
Tom Fisher.
Tom Fisher. And he was talking up Angel's Envy like nobody should. and I was like, I found a bottle of Angel's Envy. I love the bottle. It's a cool bottle. It was talked about. Sure. Bought two. Silly me thinking that I could get away with bringing bottles over the border, having not stayed 48 hours in the States. My car ends up getting searched. The bottles get found. The guy was cool about it. He's like, listen, I'm not gonna put anything in your record, but you're either gonna have to leave them here or pay the duties. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll go pay the duties. When to pay the duties, it was a 50 Canadian dollars additional per bottle. So I ended up paying about $130 Canadian per bottle of that Angel's Envy. And
that's vicious.
Yeah, so not only was it fairly disappointing, it did not oxidize well in the bottle. It was mind-blowingly expensive for what it was.
Well, that's always I would hate it. So wait, if you wait over past 48 hours, they don't tax you as much?
No. So between 0 and 24 hours, you can't bring anything duty back into Canada. Liquor, you can't. If you can try sneaking it in, but if you get caught, you can either face, you'll face charges or you have to pay duties. Like I said, at 48 hours. I believe it's 48 hours. You get an allotment of 1.17 liters of untaxable liquor, which is a standard bottle and a half bottle. So an Alliance Series bottle and a full Eleanor, I can bring back over duty free. But anything over 1.17 liters of spirit, you have to pay taxes. You have to claim, yeah.
If you did it before, do you get hit for less, or is there a penalty for trying to sneak it across?
No. Well, here's the thing: is Brad's done it before. not even done it. He's just like when he brought over like I think 6 or 7 bottles. It was when he brought back the Pappy, the Red Breast Dream Cap, and all those. So the border agent that Brad was dealing with, Brad was like, "Yeah, there's whiskey." And he's like, "Okay, open up the the luggage." Opens it up. Guy looks at it, and apparently, this is my terrible memory, but he said something to the effect of, "Oh, you enjoy your whiskey, eh?" And Brad's like, "Yep." And he's like, "Go ahead," and you just let him go.
That's nice. I mean, like you said, just if you're going to get it for about $50 a bottle, that's a hell of a lifesaver.
Yeah.
In that time frame. A couple more people jumped in. Brandon, good to see you. Tried to confuse me last week where he's in South Carolina and told me he was from South Dakota for a minute and really had me screwed up in the stream. Mark from still in Canada, good to see you in here. Hope everything's going well and you're making some more exciting things that we keep hearing about.
Mark and Lisa.
Yeah. Richie Z, I see you snuck in as well too. Good to see you. What are you three drinking? Oh, now this scares me. Mark's saying that if we get caught the next time you cross the border, get ready for a cavity search. Now, see that I'm kind of concerned. Like
that sounds like he knows from experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever see Mark after a trip down south, he doesn't walk very, very, very well. So.
Oh, that's nice. An old Forester single barrel store pick, Richie. That sounds delicious. Yeah. It's one of those ones I don't think you can't go wrong with one of those. So nice.
I switched over to the J. Henry Anniversary Blend.
Oh, okay.
I still have a little bit of that, savoring it.
And Vito does not have that
no.
That one in the sample set.
No,
but
I forgot how I haven't had it in a really long time. I forgot how nice it was. At 63%. It's nice.
it found a lot of extra depth.
Yes.
Compared to some of the other ones in that, there was a lot of new flavors to me from J. Henry in that bottle.
Yeah.
So we'll get to. I don't know how much is Jesus Christ, I can't speak.
You'll get there. Don't worry.
He's porky pigging over there.
I believe you.
I can't speak. Whatever. How much is secret information?
That's all, folks.
I should put my camera like facing like what I'm doing. Where is it?
Tell us about your process here, Vito. How are you tackling this?
Well, I'm tackling this as the true professional that I am. I have my handy dandy notepad that I have meticulously organized with this squiggly line here into really basic yet informative individual words that clearly outline exactly what I'm smelling and tasting. And I have all my whiskeys capped for optimal flavor retention. And this number 3, sample 2. No, which is 3.
Which is really 3, yeah.
Is phenomenal. I really, really like this one.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that one.
Really
big fan of that one myself. And
I really like that. It's like, okay, so I got like a light soy sauce on the nose, slightly salty sweet corn, green leaves, like fresh, like if you're walking through a forest, and like almost like you're walking through like a river or like a creek. Like there's just that air about a smell about the air that's like really pleasant and like fresh, right? And then obviously it's definitely high ABV, and I get like a creme, like the custard from creme brulee, like that creaminess, that nice mouthfeel, sweet and sugary, slightly peppery. But it's like I said, it's my favorite out of the 3 I've had so far, and I would go so far as I would buy a bottle of that, just from the pour that I had from that.
That's fair. We'll explain that one. Like I said, once you go through them, and we kind of hit halfway through. But that is definitely that's one that I was happy to get my hands on, and it was hard to in my area. So, oh, damn you, Ben! You switched over to the Panther Distillery's Pike Creek bourbon. That's oddly fitting for later on when we started explaining things. That was a I think that was had a higher rye content. I can't remember, but I was surprised by that one, the Panther Distillery one. When we had that. So I haven't seen you do any little whiskey in the hands and rub them together and try to get some air. And there's just I think everyone's like tasting method is kind of neat and unique. Like everyone's got like a little different quirk to it when they're doing it. But I'm not a real hand rubber.
You're not a what?
A hand rubber, you know, like when you take.
Oh, a hand rubber.
Oh,
What did you think I said?
Get out of
You're
here.
gonna say yes, you
What did you
are.
think I said?
This isn't Cast Strength After Dark, so I'm gonna keep it very G-rated.
Oh, you don't have to do that.
This is a family show. I'm not gonna say what I thought you said, but I'm very happy that I got clarification from you.
Oh, the Laura actually smells lovely like that. It does. It smells different. All right, here, but
Mark's got a question for
yep,
us.
that's what I was gonna do. I've been offered a 56-gallon wine barrel. I was thinking of loading it with my 3-grain shine. Any thoughts? It was a Niagara red wine. Ooh.
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, like, what else would you put in it, Mark? Right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't do a rye.
I guess he could put like do a mash, but I'd be interested to see what your 3-grain shine does, because the 3-grain shine that he does make right now.
Oh, tease
that I have the 69th bottle Tiki.
Nice.
And here you're saying I was cheeky for what I said.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the story real quickly after. But yeah, so I have a bottle that it is phenomenal, but like unaged. So I'd be very curious to see what a red wine would do to it.
Has the barrel been used only once or more than, like, is it at a second or third fill, I guess is my question.
I'm not too sure if they give him that kind of information.
Well, my other question was a Niagara red wine. Is that a sweet wine or is that a dry wine, or where does that fall exactly?
Well, it would depend on the kind of grapes that they were using, right? So, like, if it was like and also with a lot of Niagara distilleries, wineries, I should say, they do a lot of like cab noirs and like weird blends of all the reds. So it could either be a blend of a bunch of different reds that's like a cab and a pinot and like a bac noir, or just a pinot and something else, right? So like it very much depends, or if it was just a barrel that was used for a singular wine, a singular grape. So it just once it was used.
Okay, I say do it, because I think you're going to get more like wood notes out of it. I guess that's what I was asking, kind of thinking about, was if it had been like second or third fill on it, you might not get as much of the wood notes, or it might take longer to get to it. I think I like the 3-grain kind of going in there and seeing what it can do with it.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
like
assuming it would be a French oak. Sorry.
No, they're all good.
I'm assuming it would be a French oak barrel as well, typically with red wine. So
yeah, it's weird because I'm not too sure what kind of wood the wineries use in Niagara, because it's, I don't know. They have a bunch of like different just different qualifications and requirements for their stuff. So could very well be French oak, but
ooh, All right. I'm gonna cut into what teeny bit I have left of the Lee Sinclair 4-grain. And I'm gonna pour that into what's left of the Lafroig just a tad here. And see if we can't pick up some smokiness. What are you getting on number 4, Vito?
Sweet corn, damp wood. That's really it on the first nose.
Yeah. Okay, it is a French oak that it's using. Yeah, I think you go right in there with the bourbon and see what happens. And if you gotta let it sit a couple years, let it sit, and I think it'll pick up a really great flavor from that. And Heaven Hills is getting all the rye, 100% rye is going into Heaven Hill barrels.
Nice, that's gonna be good.
Yeah, some nice kind of softness to it, some more brown sugars and stuff.
I've been meaning to take a drive up to Arthur to go visit Mark and Lisa, but it's been kind of crazy the last week or so. Considering that I'm not doing very much, my days are pretty packed. Like my hair is standing on end lately. The very little that I have at the very top of my head is actually like when I step out of the shower, it's just like auto spike.
So you guys are allowed to travel within Canada now? You just
Okay. Actually, I don't know. I assume so.
Okay.
Interprovincially, I don't think was ever shut down. What was being said was that if you were stopped and asked, and you didn't have like a legitimate reason to be like traveling, or if you were really far from home, like if I were to drive up to Arthur, where Mark and Lisa are, I could get away with saying like, oh yeah, I'm heading up to a distillery. I've been furloughed, but I'm on a YouTube channel and I'm going up to a distillery to pick up some stuff to talk about. So like that would most likely be a valid excuse. But if I were just like, oh yeah, I'm just out for a drive, the guy would probably like get the hell out of here.
See, that's where I'm like, what's wrong with being out for a drive if you're just in your car and you're not getting out and engaging with anybody? Just to get out of the house and go drive around.
I almost think what it is that if my address is in Toronto, right, which is like a hot spot in Ontario. Oh, I'm coming for the sanitizer. Perfect. That's a better excuse. But like, so the cop doesn't know if I'm carrying it, if I'm asymptomatic, right? So if I'm going out to rural areas, right, and going up to a farm, interacting with people there, one would almost kind of think that, oh, there's a chance that it can be dropped into the rural, like GTA, and then kind of the spread escalates from there potentially. It's all about being a little bit safe and proactive instead of like reactive, which the entire response of the world, besides a couple countries, has been very reactive and not proactive enough. So I don't mind it. I'd rather be safer than sorry, but at this point, at almost 3 months, it's starting to my hair's not agreeing.
Speaking of hair, have you got a haircut, Patrick, yet?
Thursday.
Let's see.
It's kind of pressed down from the hat, but like if I get out of the shower, it can be like straight out like this and go like around the back, so I look like I'm from like Star Trek Deep Space Nine or something, or Babylon 5. I'm like an alien race.
I don't know if y'all have watched. It's an early 2000s cartoon called Recess.
Yes.
Patrick with his hat off and his hair down like that looks like an older version of TJ with his hat off.
Now I'm gonna have to hunt this out. The other time I got, kind of compared to someone in a TV or movie was there was I think it was a Norwegian movie called Troll Hunters, and I like my girlfriend or my wife's friend was like, "You look just like the main character in that movie," and I looked and I was like, "I'm not far off." I'm like, I do kind of look like him a little bit. I'm like, I'll take it. Which, if you haven't seen Troll Hunters, it's like a real movie, and it's
a real movie.
It's a real movie. It's not something I'm making up.
That is a ring endorsement. That's a real movie.
It's making fun of itself, but it's like also sort of so they're trying to be real, but at the same time it has like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 feel to it. Like it's just a fun whiskey. So are you on 4 or 5 now?
Still on 4. I'm trying to figure it out still. I'm confused by it a little bit.
Sounds like Emily knows what movie I'm talking about.
We're about due for another movie stream too.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, I like that. And people be a little defined about what genres we're going into next on the movie stream. Then,
yeah,
it's compared. That makes a big difference. And there's some movies that would say cross over into like 4 different categories. So,
Gesundheit.
Excuse me. Yes.
Okay, I think okay. So 4 has to be a bourbon, like a bourbon. Mid ABV, like 43, 44%. It's just too stereotypically bourbon. I don't want to say it. I want to say it's a Kentucky bourbon, but I'm wary of what you can get your hands on, Patrick. So like I don't know if it's like something crazy that people are doing, like replicating that very Kentucky sort of flavor elsewhere. But this one I'll say it's a young Kentucky bourbon.
Okay, that's kind of close. Do you get on this just for the fun? Well, I'll wait. Let's get through the last one.
Okay, let's get through the
and
last
then we'll
one.
go back around the horn. Which that means everyone in the chat drink. Woo. Okay. The Lee Sinclair, the lore of Lee Sinclair, as I'm going to name it, the mixture of Lefroy lore and a little Lee Sinclair, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. That earthy richness kind of comes through even more and gets like a smoky kind of bite to it. I'm liking this blend. Which
one do you think made it better? Do you think the Lee Sinclair made lore better, or lore made Lee Sinclair better?
The way I only had a little bit of lore, I'm going to say the lore made the Lee Sinclair a little bit better because the Lee Sinclair is more the dominant factor for what I poured. So this is just kind of like a little accent notes. They're kind of playing around with it a bit.
Yeah, I'm a fan of anything Lefroy or Ardbeg or peated, adding a few drops or something to just about any kind of bourbon or rye or something like that. It tends to really play together really well most times.
This is the oddest nose out of everything.
5?
Huh? 5, yeah.
Okay, 5. All right.
Penicillin, toffee, and s'moresy marshmallows. It's very weird. Very weird. Very weird indeed.
I love what other people are getting like a hand at it because we did Hayes and Brad did try these one night. So at some point I'll go back and look what they were thinking.
Yeah, because I missed that stream purposely so that I wouldn't be influenced at all when I would do this.
Yep. And Richard D's asking the Lee Sinclair is no, it is from Spirits of French Lick in Indiana is where Lee Sinclair is from. Oh, there you go, Mike. You're beating me to it in the chat. But yeah, and Alan Bishop is a distiller there, and he's just fun. He's a fun guy to talk to.
Yes.
He's passionate about what he's doing, but he also like just enjoys talking to people and getting his message out. And he's not. some distillers can be kind of uppity or preppy-ish,
Not pretentious at all.
Yeah, not pretentious at
No.
all. Not at all.
Does know a lot more than you do, but doesn't show it.
He can explain it to you, though.
He's
can
he's
take you down
just
the
as happy
path.
talking about yeast and mash bills as he is telling you to, shove something up your ass.
Okay, so penicillin tastes like the banana candies, the tiny
Okay.
banana things.
The shock tarty things.
Yeah.
Or runts. Runts.
Penicillin tastes very much like that, or like banana medicine. Anything sort of like that. Oh, my pen just broke. The fuck?
Uh-oh.
Hold on, does it still work?
Gone to hell now.
I can still write my notes. We're in luck. So yeah, so anything but like banana popsicles or banana flavored medicine, that is essentially penicillin. And I'm allergic to penicillin. I found this out when I was 4.
Ooh.
I got treated with penicillin, and then on the ride back home, I vividly remember, this is one of my first memories, looking down on my hands were like inflated like rubber gloves. Like my hands just ballooned. And my mother turned the car around and went right back to the hospital.
Well, that would be scary,
Yeah.
especially when you're a kid, when weird stuff like that starts to happen.
And I didn't know what I remember seeing it, and I don't remember anything else that happened after. Like it was one of those fleeting memories that you sort of remember when you were a kid, right? Like just when your consciousness really starts to come to hammer down. It's like oh, I got like a glimpse of this, a glimpse of that, a little bit of that, and in between all that, you're just like a rambling nonsense, shit disturber.
Yeah, I had that when we had a winter camp for school, and there's like 3 or 4 nights we stayed over, and we were playing broom hockey, which just little ice rink, no skates, broomsticks, and I took a slap shot to the chin and didn't realize that it screwed me up. I ended up falling back into what the boards / snowbank were, and I was like, holy crap, he really cracked me. So I got up and went over to cross check Bobby and take him off his feet, and I got 2 feet away from him, and he's like, ooh, like this, and I was like, what? And then I looked down, and there's this blood all over my shirt and my pants, and this trail from the ice from where I came from, cut my chin open from here to here. I remember that happening. Blacks out for a bit. I'm in their office, and they're like, someone has to take him to the hospital. I was like, ooh, hospital? Boop. Kind of next thing I remember is getting stitched up by some nurse. And then I remember the 2 people I was with, since it was at a kind of like a camp where the food wasn't very good, that the 2 people who took me were asking, would you be okay if we stopped at a Hardee's or at a pizza joint on the way back, and you just have to tell people that we didn't go here and we'll buy your food for the night. Because they didn't want anyone, and they're like, we don't want to eat their food. This is a perfect excuse for everyone to have a nice meal. Let's just go have a nice meal before we go back to camp. So yeah, I do remember we just got bits and pieces of memories that kind of come through. That's kind of start and stop. Plus, I think I snored that night, and we blamed it on some other kid, and he got shoes thrown at him. Feel a little bad about the experience. But Vito, are you done with number 5 now?
I'm done. I've gone through all 5.
All right. Now,
Down to business.
let's see here. I got to switch back to where the banners are for that lovely stuff. Now, let's start with what you think. I think is your number 3. The one you said was a little bit blander compared to the rest of them.
So that would be sample number 3.
Sample number 3. Now, that one I picked, it is actually from Yahara Bay Distillery, and it's the Wisconsin whiskey they have. It's a sweet bottle. It has a badger on it who is dressed up in a suit, and he has a monocle. And whenever I have that bottle around, I feel like I'm underdressed whiskey reviewing. I feel like I should go get dressed up. It's just, I don't know. He looks like he should be in an old parlor drinking with you. It's really fucking weird. But that one is it's a 40% ABV, like you were thinking. It's a 4 grain. It is younger. It's 2 years in a Southern Oak. And the only reason I picked that one, and that was like when I first started kind of tasting whiskey, not tasting whiskey, but kind of getting into it a little bit deeper and thinking about stuff. It reminded me of being kind of like a Basil Hayden, where it was so light, it was kind of friendly. And I think the way I described it was, if I was giving it to someone who hadn't had whiskey, I might give it to them as kind of like that very first entry point, being not all of it is overly aggressive. Here's a couple flavors, and it could be an entry point. It was the reason I kind of went with that one. Not like it was overly wow on the flavors and kind of jumping at you. Side note, they do have a 4-year-old that just came out that's just aged 2 more years. I just haven't been down to Madison to kind of get a comparison to see if it picks up more, but I think the 40 hurts it a little bit. Where
definitely. It would probably benefit at like more 45, 46, I think, at that age. Just to give it a bit more oomph, like just even just like more alcohol punch. Like it's too thin and light. I have to always kind of rein back, because like you're approaching this from someone that like loves Octomore. It's like rein it back. Not everything has to be, like full on like mouth rape. You gotta. Things are allowed to be, light and friendly, but it's like I kind of want a little bit of action,
Everyone likes a little slap and tickle, like you get a little something out of it.
Giggity.
So I was so I was thinking that was probably the one was that the one you liked the least out of the bunch?
Yes. That was
okay.
Yeah, by far that was the least interesting.
I get you. I understand that with it. Yeah. Because like I said, like I'm trying
not to like shit on it, but I'm just saying it's not as interesting as the other ones.
No, and I agree with that. It is a little more subdued. Like I said, I kind of I viewed it as like a gateway bourbon.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's all.
It's considered a bourbon though. No, it's a 4 grain.
It's a 4 grain is what it is. Then I don't know the actual amounts. That's quietly to themselves, but Yahara Bay does do some awesome contract distilling for some other people. So they do have some, and for themselves, they have some other stuff that's some really good juice, like more punch, more flavor, a little bit higher ABV and stuff. But like I said, just kind of like a gateway whiskey. What would be, so if that's number 5, what would number 4 be on your list?
Number 4 was sample number 4.
Sample number 4.
Yeah, so that's the one that I was kind of struggling with a little bit. No, sorry, that wasn't the one I was struggling with. That was the one that I said was 100% a Kentucky bourbon. I'm just going to go on. That is a Kentucky bourbon.
Okay.
Mid-range ABV, like mid-40s or so.
No, I'm going to go back to that one and see if you get any sherry notes out of it. Now that I've said
okay, no. Oh shit, I should have wrote it down too. I was going to say like there's a wineness to it, but I couldn't be certain because I was like, this is too Kentucky for me to be like picking up wine. So I kind of just like eliminated that. I'm just like, I'm being influenced by like the previous ones that I've had, and I'm getting something that, right. So I didn't even write it down, but I was picking up a wineness about it, but the everything else about it was screaming to me traditional bourbon that I was just kind of like, I'm just gonna put the wine away.
Yep, and I can see that with it. So I'm gonna punch back in here. That one is actually J. Rieger's.
Oh wow!
Just standard juice. The original stuff that Dave Pickerel helped kind of blend. That one was 46% a blended whiskey, and they actually add a small amount of Oloroso sherry.
You're allowed to do that in the States?
I think it was like a minimal amount, and they also did age it in, I think, the Oloroso sherry butts for a bit. It was a tiny amount of it.
Yeah.
Think kind of like Basil Hayden dark rye.
Yeah.
It's
a 15-year-old sherry.
Yeah. But It was a blend of straight bourbon whiskey. That was, I know, was from Kentucky. A light corn whiskey and a straight rye. It was what's in the blend. So the unique thing, but I was gonna say I get what you're saying with that. So that was number 4 on your list.
I didn't mind this one at all. Like
no.
it was definitely nice and friendly. It had character to it, and very sort of just that reminiscence of like I said, there's Kentucky bourbon in the blend, so it was kind of like, oh, this is familiar yet substantial. So
you're hitting that. You were hitting that kind of flavor profile, and I remember that in there.
Yeah.
So now they do. We have one coming up. We're doing a review of a J. Rieger where they finished it in a Pinot Noir barrel in a couple of weeks. And the last couple of Pinot Noirs we've been hit on have been surprisingly good on the finishes with them. So I can't wait for that one. What came in number 3 on your list?
It was number 1.
Number 1. That one is actually. Oops, I almost put on the wrong thing. That's Douglas and Todd from the Phillips Distilling Company in Princeton, Minnesota. Now, it says Phillips Distilling Company. They're kind of the people that bring it to market. Panther Distilling is the one who actually made it for them. So Panther Distilling is the oldest craft distiller in Minnesota. Phillips Distilling Company is the oldest kind of, I don't know, bottler, but I don't know, brings everything to market. I was going to say has been bringing whiskey to market for probably like 150 years or something.
Coming back on it, it smells. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but it's very barnyardy, and it's almost like I'm gonna say it's super young, and there's more grain than anything in here. Like probably not more grain. That's redundant. It's a like a grain, like a 3 grain or a 4 grain.
It's fair. It's technically, you're right about ABV, kind of down the middle, 46.5. 2 grains, 83% short summer corn, and 17% red winter wheat. Now, when I had this, I thought there was some rye hidden in there, and that's where I was like, I was getting a bit, and that's when I was talking to Mitch. That's right, who works at an undisclosed location, about barrels, because it's a 4-year-old whiskey, and I don't know, I was really surprised there was no rye in it. He said since it's a Minnesota oak, that the cell structure is much smaller and you get far less sugars. So you'll actually start pulling some kind of a little bit of a rye note from the barrel itself, just because you're not pulling as much sugars from it. You're getting a little bit more of the tannins and stuff like that from it. Because I was like, when he told me, I was like, bullshit, Mitch, you're just screwing with me. But no, he's telling the truth. He's telling the truth on that one. So, it's hard to go back and forth with that. Now, what was number 2 on your list?
Number 5.
Number 5.
Yeah, the penicillin.
Okay. And that one was the J. Henry and Sons 7-year cask strength. I guess I can put that up here. They're from Dane, Wisconsin. They are a company that does probably, well, Driftless Glen has a very nice bourbon as well too, but traditionally J. Henry and Son has been the company that's been doing some of Wisconsin's best bourbon for quite a while. I know someone was drinking the 5-year cask strength. I did like the 7-year, but they're working with Nancy Fraley. They have, on the second one I sent out, they did Bellefontaine that I think Mike is probably drinking or did drink tonight. And that one is aged in cognac barrels and tastes completely different than the one you're having right now. And they also did an anniversary blend, and they're doing another one this coming year of the anniversary blend. And those have really unique depth of character. I thought that one was very Kentucky-esque for Wisconsin. Like it was a bourbon, a whiskey right off the bat. I don't know.
Coming back to it on the nose, kind of reminiscent of like barbecue smoke. I don't know. I didn't catch it before, but just ever so slightly, like if you were to take like a barbecue sauce mop and burn it to like ash, right? Like that smell would come off of it. That like burnt barbecue-y sauce. I don't know. It's kind of, I can't.
I get that.
I don't think I can probably describe it, but it's reminiscent of just like a old dried out burny sort of barbecue.
Yeah, and what was I going to say? Oh, the other unique thing about them, for everyone watching, some of you might know, the 60% heirloom red corn.
60%. Holy shit.
It's an heirloom red corn that UW-Madison developed like back in 1939, and they had to go to UW-Madison to get the okay to plant it and kind of bring it back to fruition from what it was. So they grow everything on their farm except for the malted barley or the barley that comes from Chilton. So they're doing some neat stuff down there, but most of it is standardly bourbon. They did just get into some rye, but they're letting it sit in the barrels to see what happens. So I'll be interested to see that. And then that leaves us with the one that you put at the top of the list. Let's switch back over to that guy. What are you getting on that one right now?
Pretty much everything that I said before, but like I'm getting like I'm trying like a Pinot Grigio white wine, like just a really rich, dense white wine as well, like on top of everything else I said before, the soy sauce, salty, sweet corn, that sort of fresh creek sort of feeling.
Yeah. And that one is Driftless Glen's Young Rye Cask Strength. Now I remember this was one of my we've done a bunch of Driftless Glen barrel picks on here. They are doing some great stuff, and they have a ton of barrels compared to a lot of other people. They have like 5,000 and just in the warehouse alone. So they are putting out some stuff and letting you pick some really unique single barrels, which is more what this was back in the day. Was before they were ready for that. This was their young rye, so it was aged only 14 months.
Wow.
61.3% ABV, 7% rye, and then even amounts of corn and malted barley. But yeah, for 14 months, I was like, damn, that was impressive.
You definitely.
For 14 months.
Definitely.
And they're never making that again, correct?
No,
That's a
they're
shame.
not. Yeah.
That is a shame. That is a delicious pour.
Yeah. And they're also working with Nancy Fraley on some new releases as well too. But yeah, I think they have some other standard ryes now, like the 51 rye and just a normal rye release. I think for them, with rye for me from now on, it's all going to be like single barrel picks, because those are like more interesting and more along the lines of this young rye, where they're aggressive and kind of coming at you and bold with the flavors, where they're not as much with the standard 51 and stuff.
So I'm gonna pour everything but the Driftless Glen, because that one's really good. But I'm gonna pour all the other ones into a dredge glass and see what that's about.
That's a good way to. And yeah, Spencer, 14 months. There are a lot of the young ryes that they put out for a couple years were either 14 or 16 months, and I was like, don't even quit fucking with other shit. Like this is one of those things you were hoping to get out early to kind of get the market moving, get your bottles in a couple of places, and get people who you are. I would have kept releasing some of it.
Yeah, I don't think that's even any of that's available in Canada.
Probably not. I know Sealbox has a bunch of single barrel releases. They'll do a lot of work with them, but I don't think they'll send to Canada on you.
God damn it!
They need to break that barrier.
Yeah.
I mean,
They would probably deliver to a state that's not too far from Canada.
they probably could, but then they got to make that trip.
I'd have to stay in Buffalo for like 2 days. Who wants to do that?
I can't argue with you there.
I mean, what's cheaper, a hotel room in Buffalo or paying the duty on the whiskey?
The hotel room in Buffalo because it's dirt cheap. But you're getting what you pay for.
Yeah, crabs.
After, damn it, your crabs comment screwed me up.
God damn it.
Oh, I was gonna say, after you go and have buffalo wings in Buffalo, is there much else to accomplish?
There's not much. Oh, here's a really quick thing. So you have the Kentucky Bourbon Trail and you have the Texas Whiskey Trail. Well, there is a official Buffalo Wing Trail.
Oh, hey, so you could get me for part of a day on that.
Yeah. I wanted to do it this summer, but it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. But
Well,
yeah,
you could probably come here. I just don't think you can go home.
I mean, like if you have like a floor that I can put an air mattress on, then yeah, I can just I don't mind. I'll sleep behind your couch too.
Oh.
I'll just pop my head up whenever you're streaming. Just be like, "Hey guys," and I'll just pop back down.
It'd be hysterical. Have like a Muppet character or Oscar Drugs like pops up. Whoa. Down. It's like, is he just laying down back there?
I'll have a belt of glitter and just throw it in your face. It's like, take that, yeah.
But no,
those were really good. Those were really good. Minus what was it? The Yahara.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that was fun. I haven't done this enough. I kind of enjoyed this. It really kind of tested me.
I haven't done it in a while either. So I was gonna say, I'm like, it's just something where you get to go back and like I like how you did it blind. Like other people just taste it and move on. That kind of forces you to kind of taste and smell, get what you're getting at that moment. And you took it serious. You weren't even drinking before the stream or anything.
Yeah, no, I was having water. I didn't have anything to eat. I really need to go eat now. Yeah, no, I wanted to do this as like authentically as possible. So
did you have the whole 2 ounces of all of them?
Yeah. Let me actually finish. So let me.
Okay, if you've had 10 ounces in the last hour, I mean,
no.
I'll give you credit. You should be hungry. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I was like, damn, Vito. I'm like, that's pretty good. I'm like, I know every now and then I'll pour heavy in the stream, and then all of a sudden, like, it's time to get off.
Yeah, no, I whatever that ended up being, like a half ounce, maybe like, yeah. So what is that? 1, 2, like on the high end, like 2.5 ounces.
That's not even that bad. That's average for our stream.
Yeah.
You should at least be having that much if you're watching. I'll remind everyone of that. You should at least be having that much.
Take it easy, Richie.
Mm-hmm. We'll see you later. And I think we're right around that hour mark, and we don't usually like to keep people on too horribly long. And I think we covered a lot of the stuff we wanted to tonight and got your nice opinions on what's going on, Vito. So, Mike, Ben, you got anything to add before we kind of hop off here?
No, just
you guys are good. Do you want to pimp anything, Vito? What you guys got coming out this week?
Well, we haven't discussed what we're doing for our live stream yet on Thursday. We usually decide that like Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, and just like, hey, what do you guys want to do this week? It's like, I want to have ice cream. It's okay. Like last week, it's like, I bought a tub of ice cream. I was like, you want to do like whiskey and like ice cream? And I was like, why don't we do just like general treats? And I was like, okay, that was that. And that was our discussion on what we were gonna do. So we'll figure it out on like at some point. But we do the Cast Strength live Thursday nights at 8:00 Eastern time, and then we have our Cast Strength After Dark Fiasco stream at 10:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday nights. Today I released a video. I premiered it. It was essentially what I'm doing. It's a small little project I'm doing to try to get back into the swing of like editing videos. Is I'm going through all of my old reviews and super cutting them down into about a 5-minute video. So today's video included Talisker 10, Wild Turkey 101, JP Weiser's dissertation, and Canadian Mist. Those were my first 4 reviews on the channel. So I just cut them down to just like snippets of what I was tasting and smelling and stuff like that. With I inserted a couple like small little like subtle funny stuff as well, like edits. But I'm probably gonna try pump out one of those a week to just kind of get into the groove of editing videos, because that was what was so tiring and monotonous. I found about the channel, about like running a whiskey channel, was just the editing portion was always just so long and strenuous that it was like, it wasn't fun anymore for me.
It can wear on you. That's why all of a sudden when live streams, everyone kind of, I don't want to say switched to, but there was like a movement to everyone that's doing a live stream. I was like, everyone agreed, like, well, there's no editing, and man, is that nice, just like,
that's sort of like the idea behind like what, like, the majority of what we do on our channel is like just, the 2 lives that we do like together, and then like I do my happy hours throughout the week randomly now. Just I haven't been able to do it the last couple of days, but just like it's so easy, just like go live, let's do it, right? Versus like sit in front of the computer, write stuff down, prepare, film, then sift through like 15-20 minutes of footage and make a video.
Cut down all the seconds where no one said anything for 5-6 seconds.
Oh yeah, my raw footage is like of my original reviews is like 20-25 minutes, and with like big chunks of just like silence, because I'm trying to like, okay, what am I tasting? What I'm doing? And I've gotten much better. I had obviously, in the last hour I did 5, but it's still strenuous to kind of like parse through all of it and edit. So that's what I sort of decided I was going to try to do to get back into the swing of things, is like go through old footage, compile reviews, and just release them weekly. And then when I'm done with all my raw footage, I'll decide what I do at that point, whether it be more reviews or just, I don't know. I have to decide.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's cool. I like what you're doing, kind of, and are you thinking about revisiting some of it, like as like a comparison to like before to now?
Yeah, so I did that. I did 2 revisits back when I was still living at my parents' place. I revisited the Talisker 10 and the Wild Turkey 101 in like my revisit reviews, and they definitely changed. My palate's definitely much more broad and expansive now. So stuff that and rewatching and going through the raw footage of the original reviews, I'm just like what were you trying to say? Like, I was so judgmental on what I was talking about. It's like you dope. Why would you say that? Green apples. What's wrong with you, you dummy? Oh, it reminds me of Texas barbecue. I've never had Texas barbecue before. What's wrong with you? Like, you have no point of context for what you're spewing out of your butt, and you're saying it with such confidence. Like, oh, it reminds me of like a Texas barbecue. What's wrong with you? So just like kind of like going back and watch, it's like, oh my god, I was talking and saying words for the sake of saying words, but for the most part, it's true. But like, it's like, you could be more specific, or So yeah, it's definitely fun.
And everyone kind of hones in over time. Like, I think with me, like, there's a large chunk where I was with the channel, I was trying to find like a groove or an identity with it, where it changed like 2 or 3 times, because then I kept finding out that there was like 50 more YouTube whiskey reviewers than what I thought, or like 150 more as time goes on. You're like, I didn't realize this was as big as it was, and I didn't want to like steal someone else's shtick. Like, I don't want to be overly funny and gag like and be kind of humping Ed's leg. He's in Wisconsin. That's kind of shitty. Like, I don't want to steal from him.
He would pay you to hump his leg, though.
He might. Well, as long as it's on footage.
At me and Patrick's height, that's all we'd be able to touch. That fucking giant.
Spencer Mavin's chat was asking about the cocktails we'd be making next week. We have Fred Swanson on. We are for sure going to be making a couple gin and tonics, but we are going to be garnishing with orange and mint instead of lime. Was what he wanted to do with at least one of the drinks we're making. And it'll be a comparison versus the old gin that was actually really widely popular a long time ago and still was up until they closed, and kind of their new little tweak on it since they got it. But that's next Monday, 7:45. We're starting 15 minutes early, trying to fit it all in rather than going long, because 9 o'clock we're going to be switching over to Whiskey Crusaders, which is where you should be headed to after this, because we're a little bit over anyway. So when we're done here, head over there, see what's going on there. They've also been doing some great in evening with kind of stuff where they're reviewing, talking with different brand ambassadors and stuff like that lately. So they have some really good shows with some decent insight to them. And their game of trying to keep up to how much they're drinking is scary.
No.
It's scary. I'm excited and scared about it at the same time.
I'm gonna be watching with bated breath.
To do our show and then their show afterwards, after I've had, 2 decent drinks of gin comparison and then 2 actual mixed drinks, and then going to their show.
Patrick,
I'm definitely going to be having some bacon for sure. For sure next week there's going to be like a little plate of food next to me to get through that, because last time I almost did not make. I mean, I made it, but I could tell when I did a sample send out with them, and I sent 5, and then Matt and I talked, and I think by the end we had gone through like 18 different whiskeys, because he has so much stuff from around the world, in the U.S. That trying to describe some thoughts on like 17 or 18 was like, this is good. It's got brown sugar, and it's tasty. Like, that's all I'm getting out right now. I'm like, no, I don't remember much about the distillery right now.
I'll have to smoke some more ribs before that episode.
I think that's doable. But thank you for coming on, Vito. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed being on. Next time you're gracious enough to invite me on, I don't want to focus so much on blind stuff. I want to actually kind of talk. This was a good sort of exercise, but next time we're gonna talk and drink.
Yeah, we'll just we're kind of like an after dark stream, but we at least have to wait 5 minutes in so that we can have our video approved, and then stuff can go off the rails. Yeah, Mike, we'll see if shirts stay on or off. It's a whole different thing that happens.
Then we can show the nipple.
Really appreciate you sending out the samples. I know it took a long time to get to me, but we got them, and it was a lot of fun. So thank you very much.
No, appreciate it.
All 3 of you guys.
All right, and from our den to yours. Remember, it's not the size of the den that matters. It's the love of whiskey, everyone. Cheers. Have a good night.
Cheers.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3. Let's get the flow.